I am not ready to give up on my quest for cold CPUs. So I dug into my box of Kingpin LN2 cooling stuff. Today's video is brought to you by the new, really super cool JayzTwoCents melty connector shirt. You know, paying tribute to one of the best designs that's clearly ever existed. And if you don't like the Vaporwave colors, we've got our OG gray and red colors available now. So get yours by following the link in the description below.
Nice.
Ow, I have a thigh cramp. So I am going to take this 14900K on this Strix, and I'm going to use dry ice and isopropyl alcohol to create a sub-zero cooling environment. It sucks though. I have a bigger pot than this, because this is actually a little bit smaller than the overall CPU. It's okay, it'll still get the job done. But the bigger pot I have doesn't clear these caps that are on the board right here. They hit the caps before the CPU, so these are in the way, unfortunately. And if I was to do a BIOS update on my EVGA board, I probably would have been able to just use that one. It would probably have a lot more features built in for it, but I digress. The worst part about this right now with these hold downs is I have to kind of come up with my own mechanism. These are fine threaded rods, and it takes a long time to get the hold down nuts where I want them. So I'm only gonna be putting 2 on the bottom. That's just to hold these in place so they don't fall off when I like lift up the board. And then I'm actually using an EK backplate thing. I'm really having to like jerry rig this together because I have not done any XOC type stuff. And this is, let's say, this is gonna be extreme overclocking. It's gonna be more like SOC sort of overclocking, technically. I'm just itching to get this done. Probably because I need a shower. That's probably why I'm itching. No, we have all that dry ice, about $100 of dry ice that's just over there in the cooler now. And I gotta do something with it before it evaporates. Otherwise, I would have literally evaporated $100. Kind of like the money I already evaporated for the whole project that failed. So the way this works is the pot, and I have to wrap it in insulation. I got all this insulation foam and stuff on there too. It's gonna basically get everywhere. I'm probably gonna have to put Vaseline on the board down here to help with condensation, because it will condensate no matter what. But this will go down on there like that with thermal paste, obviously. Now this thing's also very heavy. This is what it looks like on the inside. It's just straight up solid copper, but it is like, I just dented my table. Like it is very, very, very heavy. It's 3,108 grams. If you ever wonder how heavy it is. Oh, and then the 3D printed splash guard.
3.35 kilograms, dang.
It's so heavy, and that's the smaller pot. It's not even the big one. Anyway, I had Nick 3D print this just because of the problem with, this is intended for LN2. When I put the alcohol in there with the dry ice to cool the alcohol, to create, I can go like -40, honestly, with this pot. LN2 would get me like -140, you know, but it's so shallow in there that it starts percolating and bubbling out everywhere, and it just makes a huge mess because of the alcohol. So this is just to sort of help contain some of the splashing. So I want to try and insulate as much as I can around the CPU. I do not want to kill the CPU. This is a 14900K. Bought it at Best Buy for the other video. So I want to use it on my test rig actually, because my test rig has been a 13900 for a while, so I gotta trim that. So I'm just trying to create an area that at least I can keep as much of the condensation from dripping in this area as possible. I was thinking about putting Vaseline on the board, but I'm not going to because of the fact that I have some friends I'm gonna be building some PCs for, and these boards are still usable for that. Like, they don't care about Asus crap right now. They're just like, I want a computer. So they're like, I'll sell my soul for PC, sure. They're like, why the heck not? So the reason why I'm getting tape and I have this blue shop towel out right now is because of the fact that I'm gonna be putting insulation around the pot because it's going to freeze over. But if I use blue shop towels first, it'll absorb a lot of the condensation first before, and then the only way you can stop condensation is you have to stop air from getting into it. We're never gonna be able to have this be airtight unless I was doing this in a vacuum. And don't think I haven't thought about doing that, because I was at an overclocking event at CES once. And if you're still watching the channel, I would love it if you'd reach out to me, because I wasn't that interested in XOC at the time, but I'm completely intrigued on how you created that vacuum system where you pumped all the air out of the container that the overclocking stuff was in, and you had LN2 being plumbed into it, and didn't have to insulate nothing, because there was no insulation, because it was in a vacuum. I'm still wondering how the other components got cooled. I digress. Yeah, so
Oh yeah, because they're air cooled.
yes. So
You're right.
unless there's just that much radiation, or I should say that the frost makes it that far out in the board to like somehow still cool. Anyway, I digress. I just want to know how the heck he created the vacuum filled system, because I'm incredibly intrigued by that. Don't think I haven't thought of that. But what I was getting at here is we're never going to be able to stop air from getting to our metal here. But we can at least slow it down. That's kind of the idea with this right now. So the papers here, or the towels are here to absorb the condensation as it liquefies. Until the towel becomes oversaturated, then the towel itself will become a sponge and drip. So that's why you only have so much time to get this done. Like in terms of once you start bringing the temps down and stuff, before you end up, before you end up in a disastrous situation. So now I'm just gonna do a few rolls of wraps of this around it, and then I'll end up using the thick stuff. So the nice thing about the KPX is although we use it on everything, it is actually developed for sub-zero cooling so that it doesn't get hard and crack, at least not as fast as other, like there's a lot of other pastes that do not operate at those temperatures at all. Like once you get near zero, it's just completely borked. The other nice thing too about making this kind of a moat of insulation around it is the insulation pushes together, so it creates even more of an air gap there. Or not air gap, but a seal. So this board weighs 11 pounds, 11.9 ounces, or 5 kilograms, 5.3 kilograms. Okay, well it's posted. Let's burn in that paste real good, real quick, and then that'll tell me if I need to tighten down my mounts a little bit. I feel like I have to tighten my mount some. Yeah, 1.303, there we go, okay. But look, it's still at 4.344 all core. There's no, oh yeah, 5.3 all core. There's no active cooling on this right now. Like these cores are pegged, but look, there's no active cooling in this. It's just a pot sitting on top of it, which gave me a 38,703 score with nothing going. Okay, I think I'm gonna shut it down. I'm gonna tighten the pot a little more, and then I'm gonna go ahead and do the pulling downs of the temperatures. So I just had a realization of something. I was like, I should try this. And I'm like, no, I should not try this, because I actually had enough science in my brain through my Cracker Jack science license to say, don't do that. See, when you're doing liquid nitrogen, one of the things you want to do is you want to hit the pot with a torch.
Did someone say overclocking?
So that you can get it, the difference in temperature between the pot and then the LN2 inside to actually form crystals on the pot. And then those crystals actually add to surface area and cold. My thought was like, while it's doing its thing, I should hit it with the torch. That's alcohol. Alcohol is extremely flammable. There's also fumes, which means the little poof or big poof thereabout would be bigger than the area of which it's in. I'm glad I ran that scenario through my head before you guys saw me go and,
Yes, nitrogen.
and then why does Jay have no more eyebrows or hair or skin on his face? Ooh. And the cool thing is those vapors will actually start to cool some of the components around it too. Now the thing about doing it this way too is the alcohol will evaporate. It evaporates very quickly. So you can see our alcohol is boiling through cold. It's cold boiling. So this is gonna take a while, because now what I need is all that thermal mass, all the thermal mass of that pot to get down to the temperature that we want. So I have to keep putting in dry ice and putting in alcohol as it evaporates, but also not wait too long before it totally evaporates. Otherwise the warm alcohol, as you can see, as soon as I put it in, is warmer, but then the dry ice starts to do its thing and pull the temps down. It's at minus 25 inside, so let's see what our temps do right now. 30s, 40s. Let's go 5.9 all core. 53 on the package. 42,295. Okay, so I was at minus 75 last time. I'm gonna go minus 60. Oh, it dropped score though, 41,936. We didn't throttle though. You'd be surprised how much this stuff running, especially like the fender and all that in the background, can actually affect your score. It's terrible. 42,859. 6.1 all core. Insta crash, so we need more voltage. There's 6.1 all core. 42,682. So we're losing score even though we're going up. So I have the probe touching the dry ice, and you can see it's about minus 73. I think minus 75 or something like that is what dry ice is. So okay, so we're just removing some of the safety features, if you will. So we disabled CET or CEP, which is another protection. But we got a couple more runs in this thing at least. All right, so I went from 6.1 down to 6.0 again on all core for performance. I'm gonna start playing around with the E cores. I'm gonna push those up too and see what happens right now. Yeah, it's a 43,546. So we're at 200. So there's your power, temperature, efficiency curve in display right there. That it's like 200 watts at that voltage. It's like running like 1.4 volts at least right now. I think we can see the voltage here, can't we? Can we see voltage here?
You can, but you have to enable it, I think.
Oh. So that just shows you how terrible it is for, like, heat is power loss. Okay, here we go. Can we break 44,000? Aw, wait, package is at 65, 69. Yep, that's what I thought. It's getting kind of warm at the moment. I gotta wait for the pot to cool off again. It's getting a little warm. In fact, it even thawed a little bit. That shows you how much heat a 14900K can throw in to that amount of thermal mass while it's frozen and still raise the temp on it. That is crazy. I think we're getting a no post now. I think the alcohol has been spilling out and it gets on stuff. And although it's not conductive, it can still cause problems, especially if it's cold. It can make certain SMDs get too cold to operate. So I'm just kind of blowing it off or trying to evaporate it right now. Yeah, so anyway, I blow off the alcohol. It's fine now. And any condensation that was building up. You'd be surprised how robust these are with water. I even did a whole short showing you guys how wet you can make something and it will still work. There's a joke in there, I'm sure. But let's just go right to it right now. Let's go 6.1. I'm even gonna add a tiny amount of voltage. Let's go 4.546 on the E cores. That sucker is booking. Look how fast that's going. 6.1 all core. 44,098. But you know what? We just gotta, every time I click something, it does that. We just gotta keep going now. We don't have much time. So 6.2, and I'm gonna add a little bit more temp. I wanna see what the package is getting to right now. So here we go. Insta crash.
More volts.
More volts. More volts. Oh, okay. You know what? I'm gonna go back to 6.1. I'm gonna go up on the E core. What if we have 5 gigs E cores? Every time I click anything, it's doing that. Just go. Just go. God, I've added voltage and the package is at 53, 54, 55. Oh. 44,098 though. I mean, for just putting on a pot and then putting some alcohol and stuff in there. XTU keeps disappearing. It's just crashing. I think our scores, oh, okay. I think, and now the mouse is frozen. I think we have pushed this system beyond where it's comfortable right now. I could try drying it off one more time, but I think that's it. I think we broke the OS. Yay! Here we go. Can I get 4.8 on the E cores right now? Dude, the package is still only in the 40s. There, hit 50. 53. It's only 215 watts though still, 218.
Getting close to 60. Might as well put a piece of dry ice in there.
There's a 44,451. Dude, see, pushing the E cores is not like, or yeah, pushing the P cores is not automatically the best thing to do. Okay, let's get 5 gigs E core. Okay, 44,451 is my best currently. Instant lockup on the system. No! Now I have to start the process of warming this loop up and getting the pot off of there. All right, there we go. I got my money's worth now on this stuff. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have any suggestions of stupid experiments you'd like to see us do, I'm bored like the rest of you. Let's just start doing some stupid shit, okay? So we need your suggestions. Sound off down below on what experiment you think we should do. And don't be like, you should start deleting your channel. I've already thought of that, so. All right, so I wanna see a little bonus content here, whether or not I, in fact, do have alcohol in the socket. So let's do this together. We've clearly, like, we had a pretty decent amount. It was actually a little crooked, if you look at that. Yeah, maybe slightly crooked, but I think good enough for what we were doing. So watch when I hit it with air, you ready? So that's why we were crashing. However, this board is not dead. I promise you it all works just fine. Even if it was condensation. This is why I say you only have so much time before it happens. And this happens. This is called warming up, drying out, and doing it again. Now, if we were going for records and stuff, if we were doing LN2, I would just clean this all up. I would spray some isopropyl alcohol in there to mix with the water, hit it with air, let it evaporate, remount, do it again. And I just touched that with my glove for thermal paste everywhere. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Hope you learned something today. We'll see you in the next one.